Hi, I'm Jim Evans. Welcome to Loose Change. We've got another fun show for you, and we're right in the middle of a fun time of year, aren't we, with the holidays and college football right at the pinnacle of the season. What a great season it's been for Ohio State, right? You know, that big contract for Urban Meyer really paid off. They're giving him, what, $4 million a year, and he make a lot more on top of that. And he joins that elite group with guys like Nick Saban and Mac Brown. They're making around $5 million a year. And I was thinking, you know, it won't be too long before a lot of these college coaches start making as much money as their players. I mean, they're getting there. Tough time at the beginning of the high school football playoffs, at least controversy anyway. There was an ineligible player, you may have heard about that, and a couple schools went to court over that. It almost became this big mess, but they ironed it out just in time. You know, if you're a coach, you want to run motion, not file one. That for sure. Big mess still in New York in the aftermath of that superstorm Sandy. And in Queens, apparently now they're having a problem with the sewers backing up. So the quality of the air, not too good. But you know, despite that, most people in New York are more upset that the Jets stink right now. That's the bigger problem for them. We were lucky. We were supposed to get hit pretty good with the back end of that storm. We lucked out. It just kind of brushed by us, if you remember, and we just got a little extra rain. But I'm sitting there watching it on TV, and they were showing shots of the storm and then a video of these boarded up buildings. And as it turned out, they were just showing boarded up buildings on South Avenue right here. That's all it was. Talk a little bit more about your experience at YSU as a player and also as a student.
Well, you know, it was a great time to be in Youngstown. The mid-'90s was just one of the greatest decades ever for any collegiate university on and off the field. And I'm just honored to have been a part of that, especially towards the end, you know, with all the hype of the team of the decade and, you know, playing in, you know, the last national championship of the millennium. Unfortunately, we lost, but it wasn't about that. It was about the experience and everything leading up to that with the tradition of Youngstown, you know, in 10 years playing in 6 national championship games, winning 4 of them. I don't think that'll ever be duplicated by any university ever. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. I mean, the town, the stadium, everything was just, it was just surreal, to be honest with you. I'm just hoping that one of these years we can get back to just a glimpse of what we had back then, because I don't think kids or people now truly understand what it was like to be in Youngstown in the mid-'90s.
You know, and we know how competitive it is now, even more so at that level. Do you think that'll ever happen again? I mean, maybe not so much to that degree, but even to approach that.
I don't think so. With the parity, the way it is now, and everything, the way it goes, I think it's going to be harder, obviously. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy to do what we did. Obviously, playing in the playoffs, there's the best way to create, you know, get a national champion. You know, you win or go home. And I think that's the greatest recipe that there is. So for us to do what we did on a much consistent basis, I don't know, Jim. I think it's going to be very hard for any university to duplicate that.
You know, as a high school player, you know, you're coming out of college and being or out of high school and you're being recruited by different colleges. And what was the sell for you? Or what would be more important to you? Obviously, you came here, so playing for, being at a level where you have a playoff and you play for a championship, or you could have played somewhere and hey, we can win our league and then maybe go to a bowl game.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Coming out of high school, I had a real bad ankle injury, so I wasn't heavily recruited. Coming out of high school, so to say that I had the options of, hey, let's go to a school to go to a bowl, that really wasn't
even
the
just
cards.
as a player.
Well, obviously, I think that you want to go where you can win. And I think that's why Coach Tressel had an easy time recruiting kids from Florida, because it's very easy to come up to Youngstown and show all the national championship trophies and all of the, you know, the national championship runs. And you always want to be a part of a winner, no matter what level it is. You want to be part of a winner. And obviously, with what Coach Tressel sold to a lot of the Florida guys, they bought, and that only helped him in recruiting. Anytime a guy from Florida came up, hey, is the guy you played against in high school. So again, he was very smart when it came to, you know, strategizing how to get certain players into the system, and once they got here, just helping them reach their full potential. And I think that's what helped us all for sure.
Before we take a break, is there a particular game or moment that still stays with you from your experience?
Oh man, there's so many.
So many. I'm sure.
Obviously, playing at Ice Castle is such a great honor. But I was always the type of person that loved to play on the road. I love playing against all odds. And the best game that I can obviously remember was my senior year, first game of the playoffs against Montana. Traveling out to Montana, which I had already been there twice through my experiences in Idaho. And I try to tell everyone, listen, you have no idea what you're about to get into. This place is rocking. They love football in Montana. They were the #1 offense in the country. We're playing on their field. It was just the atmosphere was such an electric environment that it was great to be a part of. Obviously, by me having my career best year and creating records that are still held, and obviously winning the game on the last second on field goal, stuff like that. That was probably the best game I've been a part of. Just watching, playing, contributing, coaching, watching Trussell. I mean, it was probably the best game I've ever been a part of in Youngstown.
And before we're done here, I'm going to have you run some pass patterns to see how much you can still bring in.
We'll see if you can throw the ball to me.
Well, that's key.
Yes.
He's Elliott Giles. I'm Jim Evans. We'll be back with more Loose Change right after this. Welcome back to Loose Change. I'm Jim Evans, and it's time now for our viewer email. People write in emails and ask questions, make comments, and I kind of try and come up with some type of response. So here we go. The first one's from Steve in Boardman. Jim, fall is such a unique season. What do you like about it, or what catches your attention? Well, Steve, I really like the colors, obviously. I also noticed that when the sun is lower, reruns of The White Shadow are 5 minutes longer. So I like that about fall. Shirley and Struthers. I'm a big YSU fan, and I remember Coach Trussell would always say, nothing good happens after 10 o'clock. Do you agree? Yeah, he's right. It's not until at least midnight. So he's right on it, sure. Larry in Poland, he writes in and says, I heard that the day before Thanksgiving is the biggest traveling day of the year. Is that true? Actually, no. The biggest day for traveling is the first day of the NBA season. If you're a basketball fan, you know that. Here's Betty in North Lima. Betty says, Jim, do you have a family holiday tradition? Well, yeah, we do. It's a little unusual. Sometimes we're that way. Every day after Thanksgiving, we all get together, and we go out and we chop down an artificial Christmas tree. That's what we do. Dave in Canfield writes in. He says, my dad and I are huge football fans. I'm trying to come up with just the right gift for him. Now, I like the Rams, and my dad likes the 49ers. What do you think I should get him? And he likes the Rams, and his dad likes the 49ers. A tie! That's the perfect gift for the Rams and 49ers fans. And finally, Kenny in Austintown writes in, all this trouble for General Petraeus. Do you think that Charlie Sheen would be a good military leader? Well, that's a tough one. I'm not sure that you want a group of highly trained, motivated people led into possible conflict by Captain Morgan. So, I don't know if that's such a good idea. And that is our viewer email for today's show. If you have a comment or question, you can email us. It's on the screen, and let us know what you're thinking or what question you might have. So he's back. You okay?
Any rebroadcast, replay, or other use of this program without the express written consent of, Vince was right. Why would anybody do that?
Well,
you know what? Get some new material too.
we'll try.